You're listening to the Freelance Blend Podcast, episode 126.
Welcome to the Freelance Blend Podcast, where we entertain, educate and engage freelancers from the Philippines and across the globe. And now, here's your host, Marv De Leon.
Hello everyone and welcome to Freelance Blend Podcast. This is your host, Marv De Leon. This is episode number 126. And I'm very excited because this is, for the longest time, I haven't recorded a podcast episode na through my usual recording software, which is GarageBand. Kasi dati, we've been doing the interviews via Facebook Live. So, medyo na-miss ko yung intimacy ng podcast na nagsasalita ako sa sarili ko. Anyway, I just came from a short vacation in Batangas. So, medyo nagre-recover pa from that relaxing vacation na it was quite cold in that area sa Batangas. Actually, it's in Laurel, Batangas. Great time to spend with the family. Maganda nga, it's very cold, as in you need sweater talaga throughout the day. Kasi, I think, ano ba tawag doon? Yung hanging amihan is, which brings yung cold air dito sa Manila. So, most especially kasi nasa bundok kami, so mas malamig. So, it was really fun. As freelancers, we really need to, from time to time, take those short breaks, kahit mga staycation lang. And it was really fun. And I hope, yun nga, kayo will do the same. Now, for this episode is an exciting episode as well because medyo bagong-bago tong ating episode. No, just kidding. I was a part, I attended a Freelancer forum sometime in October of last year, and I was able to get audio clips, yung pangyayari, yung mga pangyayari doon sa Freelancer forum, which was hosted by Kath Kiambao of the freelancing.ph group. And it's one of their yearly events, and I really wanted to attend because nandun yung mga friends ko, most especially si Mr. Mike Grogan, who you've heard in a previous episode of the Freelance Blend podcast. And if you don't know, he used to be a workshop attendee of my personal branding workshop, and after that we became friends, and I was happy to see him speak at the event. And at the same time, aside from Mike, of course si Kath nandun, who was also I also interviewed before for the podcast. So aside from Kath and Mike, nandun din si Michael Brooks of Golans. If you remember him, he was also a part of the show. I also interviewed him before, and he flew all the way from the US just to attend this event. That's why I wanted to be there to say hi and meet him in person. He's actually a very nice guy. Pareho rin if you were able to listen to that episode. If not, just go to freelanceblend.com and search for Michael Brooks, and you'll be able to listen to our interview. So yeah, he was there, and I met another person, two more persons actually. Si Tom Graham, who's a friend of Mike, and he's also an author. I was able to talk to him, and in fact, after this intro that I'm doing right now, you'll be listening to Kath Kiambao of freelancing.ph. He's the founder of that group, and she will talk more about the Freelancer forum. And after Kath, you'll listen to my interview. You listen to the panel discussion between yung mga names na sinabi ko kanina, Mike Grogan, Michael Brooks, Thomas Graham, and also Christian San Jose, who's a great designer. He designed the logo and websites of top professional athletes in the US like Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and also Usher. So, hindi lang athletes, pati stars. So, unfortunately, hindi ko na record yung kanyang presentation, pero napakaganda ng kanyang presentation. But I was able to record yung panel discussion with those four guys. Si Mike Grogan, Thomas Graham, and Christian San Jose, and Michael Brooks. And then after that panel discussion, I was able to interview naman Mike Grogan and Thomas Graham, wherein they'll talk about what they're currently doing right now. So yun, so this special podcast episode is 3 parts. So first, you'll hear Kath Kiambao, who will talk about the Freelancer Forum. And next, you'll hear the panel discussion between the four guys. And last is the short interview with Mike Grogan and Tom Graham. So, I hope you listen. So, I really wanted to release this episode kasi maganda yung panel discussion, and sayang naman if, especially for those who weren't able to attend that forum, this is your chance to listen to the panel discussion. The panelists, the experts were able to answer questions from the audience. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey Marv, thanks for attending the Freelancer Forum. The forum is actually the first ever gathering for Filipino freelancers, and we started this in 2015. Now it's our second year, and it's even bigger with amazing speaker lineup and the turnout of our community members. Our theme this year is inspiring world-class excellence, because we really believe that Filipinos can make it big and compete in the global markets. The goal of the forum is to bring together and strengthen the freelancing community and provide them a venue or a learning meetup that will help them grow as freelancers. At freelancing.ph, we are truly community-driven, and the forum is just one way to live to our mission, which is to empower, to educate, and to inspire the Filipino freelancer. For this year, we opened the forum to both the experienced freelancers and those interested to be one. We also invited global brands that cater to freelancers, such as GoLands. The founder, Michael Brooks, flew all the way from the US just to attend and speak on this event. We also have Payoneer and some homegrown platforms like onlinejobs.ph, My Outdesk, and of course, Paymaya. And we were privileged to have Christian San Jose, the man behind Kobe and Usher's websites, and Mike Grogan, who believe that Filipinos are world-class, to speak at this event. So, guys, I hope to see you in 2017. Make sure to subscribe to us so we can keep you posted of our upcoming events. Just visit our website, www.freelancing.ph, or you can also join our community in Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/groups/freelancing.ph. Stay tuned also for a lot of helpful guides, blog posts, interviews, and lots of local meetup coming soon. So thanks, guys. See you.
What other benefits do you get apart from flexibility when you work in a freelance setup?
What benefits? Who are you going
What other benefits aside from flexibility for that?
All of them, or just one? Anyone can answer. What are the benefits?
What other benefits aside from that or flexibility?
What are the other benefits that they can get as a freelancer?
What are you asking? What are the benefits aside from pay and flexibility? What else do you want? Can you buy benefits with good pay? It depends what's important to you, right? So if you have a good corporate stable job where you show up 9 to 5 and you're happy and it's working for you, I say great, keep it. And in your spare time, build your digital reputation. And if you're up for it, work a few hours, after hours, build your reputation, work with as many people as you can, and make as many people as you can happy on your lunch break or your after hours. And that'll give you an element of security that if anything happens with that corporate job, you now have something to lean back on. And I think that's gonna serve you very well in the future, or at least could serve you. And if not, you made extra money and you made some people happy, and that's a big win-win.
Thank you very much. Yes. Okay, next question.
Next question, sino?
Question. Okay.
Just like to ask, what are the challenges of doing freelancing?
What are you asking?
I would just like to ask Sir Christian.
There are a lot. So basically, when you're in a job, you're competing with everyone else. Like, more or less, you're working with everyone else, but you're competing with everyone else within that group. When you're freelancing, you're competing with the world, right? So, do whatever it takes to get your name out there. That's definitely a good thing, but you're asking about the challenges, right? Yeah, like competition, like setting yourself apart, like learning the skills to set yourself apart. That's very tough as well. But yeah, it just takes time. I mean, if you put time into it, you'll get something out of it, right? As with anything. Yeah, like sometimes you just have to do whatever no one else does as well. Like you do something that might not be you personally. Or you might be shy in person, but online you're like the loudest person because it's what it takes to get that job or get your name out there. So it's very tough. But you just do your work. You improve every single time. And you know you're improving, and you take criticism, like do all of that thing, all of those things. You'll set yourself apart, but it takes time for sure.
Next question, please. Yeah. Mr. Earl.
Well, good afternoon. My question is regarding, I've been 3 years for freelancing, but I never been asked by other clients, like, can I get an increase? You know what I mean? Just because I'm very, like, reserve myself, like, are they going to get mad? Like, asking another extra dollar for just because it's been I staying for him for 2 years, and then it's still the same rate. So, what is your tips in order to ask something for your increased salary or some benefits? Mr.
What are you doing right now? What kind of work are you doing?
Actually, I'm infusion specialist. This is a certain software, and then I just also experienced in Zero in accounting as a bookkeeper.
Okay, so you do bookkeeping and engineering? Is that what you said?
Actually, it's a marketing campaign software. It's very popular right now in small business software tool for using a CRM.
Oh, okay, so that's great. It's marketing software. Marketing people inherently are performance-minded, Are there any performance metrics that you can pop into place? Any performance metrics? Any numbers that there? Any expectations? Or is it just hourly or monthly work?
It's only hourly. Or probably a monthly.
Okay. But like when you're doing your work, how do you measure your work? How do you measure your
Actually, most Filipinos I've been experienced. Like I came from a Filipino employee, and then he just gave me like a middleman. You know, when you're starting, and then when I learned something from him, and then experience, and then I going to be independent, and then look for another client. However, it's much more like. I think it's a culture for us, like accepting anyone. Okay, whatever projects that you give me, and then I will do it, and then it keeps grow and grow your job fast.
So, I guess understanding what I know of what you're saying about culture, and understanding what I know about hiring, I would pose it not so much as asking if I can have an increase. I would probably pose the question as, geez, Mr. Employer, I really love working here. This is fantastic. And I love the value that I'm contributing. Is there a way for me to grow? That's a good one. Is there a way for me to grow with the company? And inherently grow also means income growth. Or is there some additional performance that I can put forward so that I can earn some type of bonuses or increases because I really love what I'm doing here, and I'd love to know if I can do more so that I can grow with the company and grow myself also. And I think people genuinely appreciate that. It's not just saying, hey, I show up for work and I'm doing my same job and I'm taking more. Although I don't think it's necessarily wrong to increase. We do with the people we work with. We often give increases and bonuses and things like that. If a company's not doing it, it doesn't necessarily mean they won't. But that word grow is very fantastic. I'd really like to grow with the company, take on more responsibility. I'm looking to increase my commitment to the company. And I've been doing this great for this time. Is there any way that I can just focus on the company and I can put down, any other ideas, any additional work I have to do to support my own life? I'd rather just focus on you. Is that something you're open to? And would that help as maybe a soft, like a gentle way of reaching that point? You think? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Any thoughts? Okay. Next question. Because you only have 15 minutes.
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for very inspiring speeches from everyone. And I would like to address this question to everyone as well. Just to start off, I've been freelancing for more than 3 years, and when I meet up with my friends who are full-time, they kind of ask about my work, and I say it's okay. And then they give me this weird stare, like some sort of weirdo. They don't know what I'm doing, basically. Although think about their kids or something. Get the job full-time. And I feel this problem is persistent here in the Philippines, and people are fully aware of the potentials of being a freelancer, the successes and profits that come with it. So I have a lot of questions that you can answer whichever you want. What do you think are the biggest problems that Filipinos have that are preventing them from being freelancers? What do you think needs to be done in order to break that wall? To introduce full-time people or time with the traffic, and to get them to become freelancers. And thank
you for the question. So I was a freelancer for a long time. That's how I started. I definitely know the stigma of like how freelancers are viewed, unreliable or biglang nawawala. That's all I hear. So you sort of get why you're put in this box, right? but then you want to break this wall that we're reliable. We have to. We can do better work than everyone else, or we can offer more because we're more flexible, right? You want to be perceived as that. So basically, what I did was separate myself from like my personal self, like being a freelancer, and made it into a company. It's basically still me, but I registered as a company, basically a sole proprietor. So that at least separated me from the other freelancers, and that made me more reliable, or at least more okay. Like at least the view of the client, they'll say that okay, he put enough time into registering his own business. He's serious about this, so that removes all the connotations of being a freelancer that they're unreliable, right? You're paying your taxes. You do your job. Basically, you do what's needed to be done, so that they trust you more. You put in your own work, right? So it gave me a lot of opportunity that when they were approaching me, they're not approaching just a guy, but well, they were just approaching just me, but they were approaching an entity. So that would help everyone out. Like don't just like at least that would be my tip. Like don't just register for as a consultant or like there's one right that's separate from just before sole proprietorship. Like go all the way. I hate taxes and I hate going to BIR twice a month. Like if anyone of you are entrepreneurs, 1601Bs and 551Ns, I hate that. Like 20th of the month. So, but you have to do it to get the benefits. Not only like at least you're a legal entity, like people treat you better. Like you're approaching it on a different level than everyone else. So that's what at least set me apart as a freelancer. Even though it was just still me, but like maybe 6 months from when I started the company because I needed help. So
yeah, go right ahead. It's a good question.
The number one thing holding back the Filipino, false beliefs. So there's a false belief about freelance in the Philippines. There's a false belief about entrepreneurship. Let me ask a personal question about your parents. My parents, their expectation of me is to work in a big company. That's how they have defined success. And a lot of Filipino families have also that expectation on their children. Become job seekers, not wealth creators. So if you're not working in a big company, you're maybe weird or strange. And your own family members have this confusion, misunderstanding. So the best advice I give is, on a daily basis, the Filipino freelancer, I believe, needs two things: inspiration and empowerment. Learn faster than anyone else. Study success. There's so many successful examples of Filipino freelancers and entrepreneurs. There's so many. Get inspired by those stories and learn faster than anyone else. Empowerment, those skill sets. Do those two things every day. That will give you the edge, because it's really difficult. And I know, Marv, you can relate to this. So many of you can relate to this. Your own family not understanding why you're doing this. And it's hard. But I think if you keep with it and keep have those daily inspirations, those daily skill sets, I think that's what will keep you going, keep moving forward in those difficult times. So I appreciate that.
That's a very good point. It goes down to mindset. But you have to. One thing you want to think about is it's not just your mindset. So your question is, what's the barrier between a successful freelancer and getting to work and living the life they want? Well, there's barriers that you have, and I talked a lot about there's a sickness in freelancing that has gone down over the last decade, but I've seen it really I've seen its ugliness, and that is where someone kind of goes, oh, I'll just hire some. We used to call them Odeskers. I'll hire some Odesker, and they'll build me a car for $10. And there's this mindset. There's no connection to the human experience. So how do you humanize yourself? How do you break down the mindset of the expectation of the person who's hosting? How do you get inside their head and say, okay, Mr. Employer, it's my intention to create a massive, exactly what you want or better at a great value. And that's where people, I think, are starting to go. The challenge is that people starting out, they kind of apply, they check things out, they don't get jobs right away, and then it's self-defeating. It's a mindset. It's like, oh, I didn't get this right away, I posted, I didn't hear back, and it's like people think that something's wrong with them. It's not. There's all types of things, reasons why someone selects one person over another. The jobs are out there, the work is out there, but the more you can do, and the more committed you are to showing your value, whether it's building your own blog site, collecting your own testimonials, making your own video, telling a joke, whatever you can do to create the perception of, hey, this is who I am as a human. I'm not just, a picture in a round circle with a profile. This is me as a human. I'm a human being. Here's a link to my Facebook page with the family pictures. Know who I am, and that jumped out of you, and then stick with it, and then just keep knocking on those doors, and it comes down to mindset. It comes down to commitment, and every no is closer to a yes, and every other great motivational thing. But they're out there, and you got to knock on a lot of doors. But understand the other guy's mindsets. See if you can find out who you're dealing with. Is it somebody who's, when you're going to apply, and is it someone who's used to do this, which are great. These people have gone through this. They know that there's immense value with working with people in the Philippines. They know there's immense value in working with freelancers, and they know how. And then there's, the guy who just wants to call for $10. And it's like he'll learn his lesson or he won't continue on. He might not have ever been that great in the first place. But don't let that guy discourage you. Stay on the people and until you get to a point and say, this is who I want to work with. Because my value is very great. This goes back to mindset. My value is fantastic. I know with everything I put together, I'm going to bring this, and this is the type of the client I want to work with. And it has to be more than money. You talked about other benefits, purpose, money's in there, but growth, I want to be somewhere where I can grow. I want to be somewhere where I can contribute. I want to be somewhere where I can work autonomously, where I'm given something to get done and I'm going to do it. And these are the messages that you've got to, you only have a little bit of time to try to grab people's attention, right? You're not just posting a job saying, I want to work. You're focusing, targeting a message, and knowing who you are, getting that message out to the person you want to get to, that's going to give you your best shot. And the more you do that, the more you hone in on that, the more you practice, the more you apply, literally apply yourself, the greater the chance that you're going to find that deal, find that company that you're going to work with, find that relationship in a place that's going to be right for you.
Very quickly add something. I suggest you consider changing your friends. I'm joking, of course, but the point I want to make is that as I'm a social entrepreneur, and I might be considered a bit of an outlier as a social entrepreneur, and yet I can tell you, I think this is the best place in the world to be a social entrepreneur because all of my friends are social entrepreneurs, and we all help each other, we encourage each other, we inspire each other the whole time. So as a freelancer, as an outlier yourself, I would say that networks like this are really important, actually, because you can get together, you all know people, you have similar interests, you maybe have similar lifestyles, and you can encourage each other and inspire each other and help each other in exactly the same way. So, that's what I have.
Okay, guys. Unfortunately, we only have one question left. Kasi we only have 15 minutes. But later, they'll still be here. So, go ahead and bother them again later. Okay, last question. Please stand up.
I've been a freelancer for years, and I have a problem with marketing myself actually, because I've done some jobs that are confidential. So that's why how can you and this confidential that happened to be the big ones. So how can I, promote myself to a client digitally, even through a website? All I can say is just what my job is, because most of the details are really with confidential researchers. So how can I do that?
So I have the same thing. I'm going through the same thing because I sold my company like early 2015. So with that company is all my portfolio, everything else. So I moved on to an advertising agency, and now I moved on to another advertising agency where I'm creating a new agency under it, Sachi by January. So I don't have I have nothing. I have nothing to show for me. Like I can't use any of my work. But I can do talks and stuff like that, but that doesn't bring me much work because I just love doing talks. So I'm in the same dilemma. So what I'm doing right now is creating case studies that are more or less the same work I'm doing for my clients, but more like towards what I want to do. So it's personal work. More or less like, I'm not sure, what do you do?
I'm a researcher in history, genealogy,
Okay.
and families. I research and write.
Research,
Family
okay.
history. So you can understand already why
For
some
sure.
things are confidential.
Right.
And some clients.
Do you have the flexibility to do research on a case study that's not for a client, more or less? That's yeah. And then you can do the best work for that because you're working for yourself and you don't have, and you know what's good, right? Like sometimes there are clients that sometimes you feel you know a little bit better, you can do a little bit better, but because of the limitations of the project, or they have different tastes, you do it their way because it's what's needed to get done. But then here, your client is yourself. You could apply yourself to the maximum level, right? So you could do case studies. Basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing sample work of stuff I want to do and stuff I want to be seen in the world, and that's gonna attract the kinds of clients that I want, right? So right now I don't have anything to show for my website. So basically, I want to work more into like stuff that people actually use. So one of the case studies I'm doing is a cinema app where when you click on anywhere on the seating arrangement, you'd see the view, like the actual view of the where you'd be sitting in the like relative to the screen. Like it's something super interactive, super simple, but it helps like get the experience a little bit better, right? So it's a small thing. It doesn't have to be the big websites. It doesn't have to be like the amazing like it doesn't have to be for anyone. But it's something I want to do for myself. So that's gonna attract the kind of clients I want. In the same way, you do research for. I'm sure you have something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Whether it's research or whether it's anyone else, like whether it's a marketing study or whether it's like you can do accounting for like you can account yourself. But anyway, you can do that, and then that's your sample work. And then as like Mike said, you could do personal branding, like expose yourself more so that people see more of who you are, like show your family, like be active online, because that's also one of the things that clients usually skip through. They see just exactly like just an avatar and a profile, and no, you're not humanized at all.
Yeah.
Like who the hell am I working with? Like I wouldn't want to work with this guy. Like, and I'll move on to the next one. Has a lot more personality, and I think I can get along with them a little bit more. So do more like personal branding and do more case studies maybe too. Yeah. Other than that, like they might have a few tips.
Yeah, I disagree. I totally agree that take some of the work that you've done and do what you think that you would do if you had no restrictions. Write your own white paper and promote it as your research, your work, and that's one great way to promote yourself. Something that you're most proud of without restrictions. that shows that what you're doing it because you love it and because you know it, and get it out there. But great points.
Thank you very much for asking the question and answering the question. For our next session, that's the last question. And so I would like to call for Miss Kat and Miss Joy to give the token of appreciation to speakers, and they're going to sing PPAP. Go back. Yeah, the one shot.
Down, side up. It's all up and down. It's really cool.
Thank you very much. Our next spot is for Miss Aki. She's going. Si Rhea na lang. Yeah, Rhea.
Alright. So guys, I hope you learned so much today. It's time to give the spotlight naman to our amazing sponsors, no? Because our sponsors, yung sponsors natin today are really the people who help us in our freelancing career, no? So the first spot is for PayMaya. I would just like to remind you can get your PayMaya cards. They're in the entrance. They have a promo if you use PayMaya until December 21 to transfer your PayPal balance. You're getting an 8% discount on the withdrawal fee.
Okay, good afternoon to the listeners of Freelance Blend. I have here with me a few of my friends. Mike Grogan. Say hi, Mike.
Hey, folks. Hey, fellow blenders.
Yes, and Thomas Graham.
Hi there, guys.
Yeah. I'm here at the Freelancer Fair, and both of them were the speakers here and at the Freelancer Forum. And maybe I just would like to ask them what they do right now and what they can maybe offer or suggest to our freelancers to become more successful freelancers. So maybe Mike, I know you were in the podcast before.
Yes,
and
very honored.
Yeah, can you talk about what you do right now after I interviewed you many months ago? So,
yeah.
So what are you up to right now?
Well, my short description is author, speaker, coach. So I have been traveling around the Philippines in partnership with Tom Graham here, sharing our message of why we believe this is the greatest time in history to be in the Philippines, to be a Filipino, and especially the greatest time in history to be a freelancer in the Philippines. So we feel very blessed that we get this opportunity to travel across this great, beautiful country, sharing this inspiring message.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk about the book?
Oh yeah, the book I have. Well, both me and Tom have written books about you, the Filipino, and we've both have a similar experience of living here, having our Filipino friends. Living in this beautiful country makes us better men, makes us better people. We see so much opportunities in this great country. So Tom's book, The Genius of the Poor, about his life-changing experience living in the Philippines, especially with the work of Gawa Kalinga, and my book, I'm very blessed that I got opportunity to highlight 21 world-class Filipinos, including the man I'm looking at right now, you, Marv, and The Rise of the Pinoy, focusing on world-class Philippines. Both books are books to inspire and empower the readers to believe that this really is the greatest time in history to be in the Philippines.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. And now we'll talk to Tom Graham. Mike talked about your book. So can you tell more about our listeners what you do for Gawa Kalinga and why you wrote the book?
Yeah, sure. So I guess in a nutshell, I would be author, speaker, and social entrepreneur. I arrived in the Philippines about 4 years ago, expected to stay a couple of months. I was doing a business report on the country, and I met the founder of Gawa Kalinga. I interviewed him, Tony Maloto. I got so inspired for his vision, or by his vision for the Philippines to end poverty for 5 million families by 2024, that I ended up quitting my job and my rather comfortable lifestyle living in Salcedo village. And I spent 1 year living in Gawad Kalinga communities all across the Philippines. And my experiences had a huge impact on me and how I see the world and my impact on the world. So I wrote those experiences in the book, The Genius of the Poor, which we published last year. And now I'm really spending a lot of time speaking to audiences, so speaking to schools, universities, corporations, and inspiring them with this message of world-class Philippines. But world-class Philippines is not the same as world-class UK or world-class USA.
Yeah.
I truly believe that the Filipino, through core Filipino values that have had a big impact on me, like bayanihan, like walang iwanan, like kapatiran, those values give the Filipino an opportunity to really define what world-class means. It's not just about financial wealth or career progression if that life that you're creating for yourself is just all about me. But I've learned so much from the Filipino about what it means to live in a more sort of sharing and bayanihan culture. And that's the message that Mike and I are sharing when we speak to schools and universities and corporations, is to say, Filipino can not only can every single Filipino be worthy and capable of becoming world class, but you can show the rest of us, even us Westerners, what world class truly means. So that's the speaking, and then just the final side. As a social entrepreneur, I have a travel company called Make a Difference, or MAD Travel, and we work with Gawad Kalinga communities all across the country to create experiences which are not only fun but fulfilling as well.
Thank you for that teaser of what you do, and I promise that we'll have a longer interview so that I can ask more about your advocacy and why you love the Philippines as much as Mike does. And I'm just curious, how did you guys meet? Did you know each other before writing the book, or?
I became a fan of Tom before I met him, as embarrassing as that is to say. But I read his book a year ago, and someone recommended the book to me. I kind of resisted because it was written by an Englishman, Joe Klang. I'm Irish, so I can make fun of him. But I started to read the book, and it's full of about maybe 30 or 40 different stories of his experiences in these communities. I was like, wow, this is a world-class book. This is one of the best books written by a foreigner about the Philippines. So I became a fan, and I started, before I met Tom, I started gifting this book to my Filipinos that I've met around the world, in US, in Africa, in Europe. I started gifting this book. And then I guess through the GK network, the Gawad Kalinga network, I got to meet the Tom. And it was, when I met him, it was quite disappointing, of course. It's like, oh, he's kind of better as a mystical figure.
We're still having him on the podcast.
Oh, he's right beside me. I forgot that he's right here.
Might not listen to our interview, so I may have to edit.
Edit that bit out about disappointment. No, I'm only. We came after about maybe 6 months after I met him, and we should share similar passions, and we became very good friends and speaking buddies. I guess we share the stage now, 70 plus times, Tom, in the last 4 months. And we have a very similar message and very experienced, so we partner together.
Yeah. So before we end this interview, maybe final message on how Filipinos can become world-class Filipinos?
I guess through, we were talking about this earlier in the forum, finding your passion. And I think freelancers are that much more likely to be able to find that passion, because they're really doing what they want, and they feel a little bit more freedom. So my 4 years here in the Philippines has been really characterized by meeting people who have been very, very brave in their life decisions. Going back to GK founder Tony Maloto, to all of the social entrepreneurs that I hang around with, and I'm fortunate enough to call friends today. So that they've made a stand, and they've made a decision to do things slightly differently, to be an outlier in society because they believe it's right. So if anybody listening out there, is still needs that, perhaps that slight additional encouragement to take the plunge as a freelancer, or to take that project or make a brave decision, I would, obviously encourage them to
not just jump.
Yeah, jump. If you believe it's right, jump. Because I've been, one of the reasons I'm still here in this country, and I love being here, is that I've met so many people who have jumped because they've done what they felt was right, and they certainly haven't looked back since.
Okay. Very well said. Mike?
Well, maybe I'll end with my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes, and it's from the Apostle Paul in Romans: "Do not conform to the thinking of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And that really echoes what Tom just said about not conforming to what everyone else is doing, not conforming to what maybe your parents or other friends are doing. That really is, there's a freelancer, there's an entrepreneur spirit in you, there's a little champion in you that is screaming to get out. And I think for you to become world class, the listener, you need to make those courageous decisions, just like so many of your listeners already have made, to do something differently, to add value to the world. So it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of resilience, but that's what makes the Filipino so unique. And that's what, in my opinion, gives the Filipino advantage over the entire world, because of these natural characteristics that they've inherited from generation to generation. So be world class by not conforming with what everyone else does.
Thank you very much, guys. I think they might be calling us, so thank you very much for this short interview, and good luck and God bless to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marv. World-class Filipino, Marv.
Yeah.
You're a world-class Filipino.
Okay, so thank you for listening to the 3 parts of this special podcast episode, where you were able to listen to Miss Kath Kiambao of freelancing.ph, and you were able to listen to the panel discussion with Mike Rogan, Thomas Graham, Christian San Jose, and Michael Brooks. I hope you were able to distinguish yung voices nila, but if not, at least I hope you were able to take away something from what they shared during the panel discussion. And last but not the least, I hope you liked my interview with Mike Rogan of bestofyou.ph, and also Thomas Graham, who wrote the book The Genius of the Poor. And before I go, I'd like to invite you to our meetup this coming February 9th. It will be in BGC at the V office in Fort Legend Tower, and that will be February 9, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. for the Creatives and Entreps Mixer. To sign up, just please go to freelanceblend.com/meetupfeb2017. Again, that's freelanceblend.com/meetupfeb2017. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks again for listening, and peace to everyone. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Freelance Blend podcast. For more details about the show and our thriving freelancer community, please visit us at www.freelanceblend.com.